everyone, welcome to my live stream. It is Friday, which means it's time to work on this Chibi Friday Chibi. We've been working on it for 2 weeks. This is week number 3, session number 3. I'm actually a couple minutes late starting because I forgot to take note of which colors of marker I had already used. So what I was just doing for the last 3 minutes was watching my live stream from last week so that I could see. I'm so glad that I always say exactly which color I'm using. So I was able to use my own recording to get these colors out. I may not even need to use them, but it's good to know which color group that I am using for these so that I can pick a nice match. You know, like I used N0 for most of the body, so then I'll choose another. So N stands for neutral gray, so I'll choose another neutral gray that's a little darker to do the next layer of shadow and stuff. So that's what I was doing for the last 3 minutes. Today I am going to be drinking a delicious 0 sugar, 0 caffeine Coca-Cola. These are my favorite. I love these caffeine-free, sugar-free. So I don't really care about the sugar. I care about the calories. So no calories and no caffeine colas because I love cola. But I'm really weak to caffeine, so I can't have any caffeine after about lunchtime or else it messes up my sleep. Yeah, I just love cola. My favorite is Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper is the best. Okay, so, well, about this Chibi, for anyone who's just watching this has not seen the previous 2, this is a birthday present for my youngest sister. She asked for Pinhead from the Hellraiser series. So he's getting really close to done. He has a very simple color palette, so I don't think it'll take very long to finish up the coloring here. Once we finish with markers, we'll move on to some details with colored pencils and white ink, and then it'll be done. So, and then I play video games with that same sister on every Saturday. We've been playing Bust-A-Fellows. It's an otome game. It's really good. Anyway, so I'll be able to give this to her tomorrow if I finish this. And she's been specifically, she did not want to look at it until it was done. She wants it to be a complete surprise. So I think the next thing I wanted to color was his clothing. It's all black, but I'm going to do a light gray first, and then that will be highlights that I'll just leave untouched when I add the darker shades onto it. Oh, Exie, hello! Hello, hello, says Exie with a British accent. That looks like a British accent. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. How are you doing? Did you have a great week? I hope so. I think you're already technically into the weekend. Do you have any fun plans? Or at least gonna hang out and relax and recharge? I think that's the best. I know I've told you before, but I think that's the best way to spend the weekend is recharging. So let's see. I think I was discussing it with myself last time. What color group do I want to use? I don't think I want to use warm gray at all for these clothing. It's too warm. Everything is so blue with this guy. All the lighting, like they have to have like a blue light shining on him in both of these reference images I'm looking at. So I think that, let's see, so cool gray I used already for the nails, so I'll just stick with cool gray. I used cool gray for the nails, so I'll use cool gray for the clothing, and then the nails are like accessories to the clothing. So, oh, and Wolf is here too. Hello. Oh, hey, what's going on? There's so many things popping up. Oh, Wolf, yay! Wolf subscribed at tier 1. They're subscribed for 2 months. Currently on 2 month streak. Woo! Thank you very much. Yay! What a great way to end the week. What a great stream this is gonna be already. We're only like 5 minutes into it. Oh, good. Exie says I'm alright. Thank you for asking. Oh, that's so good. I love hearing it. How are you? Says Exie. I am good. Interesting news. I now have a monocle but it's a contact lens. I wanted to go to contacts, and my annual eye exam was yesterday. And it turns out I don't need a prescription in one eye anymore, so I have one contact in right now, just on one eye. So that's very exciting and interesting and weird. So, I mean, it makes sense, but I never thought about just wearing one contact. So it's just like, that's just surprising. So yeah, I'm in a great mood because not having to wear glasses all the time is actually great. Like, my ears aren't tired, and I don't have to be cleaning my lenses all the time, which is a real problem when you're doing a lot of artwork because there's a little glare or something. It's so hard to ignore. Oh yeah, that'll be nice. Good. Actually says, I don't have any particular plans, so just chill and work on my world building project. Yeah, and that animation you made was really cool. I've been thinking about that more too. Like, I've been reading this book called The Bird Way, and there's this scientist, the conclusion has this scientist, a quote from a bird researcher, who says that if humans end up going extinct, then crows and corvids might be the next big thinkers because they're already so insanely intelligent that they'll just evolve to have like crazy smart brains and take over the world. And I'm like, oh, that's like perfect for my Griffin world. So like, anyway, that's like totally off track of what we're doing here today. But Wolf, how are you? I did not ask any fun plans for you this weekend, or did you at least have a good week and gonna be able to chill? Octopi take over. Yeah, Wolf says octopi take over. Yeah, the octopi take Krakens. Yes, this is awesome. I love this. I think that I'll do this because I've been thinking about. I'm not working on this at all. I gotta get these thoughts out though. So in my novel that I've been writing, the first draft, griffins rule this continent, but I've had it in the back of my mind that maybe dragons rule some other place in the world that's like disconnected, a different continent. And then so I love this idea that octopi take over and like, okay, sweet, krakens rule the seas. It's gonna be so cool. So cool. I love that idea. Like, I legit might put that in. I don't know how I would fit that in, but oh, that'll be fun. Wolf says I'm doing well, and that's good. That's good. Great to hear. I'm doing well. D&D tomorrow. Yay! Fun. Okay, I better actually start on the thing that is the subject. So much fun stuff to talk about with you two already. Okay, I'm gonna pick a color. Pick a color. So, cool gray. Overall, the color is black, but it's got highlights. So let's go to C6. Let's just do it. C6, cool gray, number 6. For the black part of his clothing. C6. At least pick a color, and then I can continue chatting if anybody wants to. Yes! Oh, I've loved that too. So fun. Wolf says Nessie rules the lakes. That would be so cool if there was like some huge, like freshwater. It's a freshwater sea, basically. It gets so big that there's a society there. I've always loved, when I was a kid, I heard someone's guess that like, the Loch Ness Monster or anything like it is actually just a dinosaur still alive, or that the idea came from dinosaur bones that were found, like the Plesiosaurus was the one that they brought up. They're like, maybe Plesiosaurus are still alive, or maybe the Plesiosaurus bones, someone found it, and that's how the idea got that there's the Loch Ness Monster or whatever. And I've always loved that idea. That either it is alive, or it was alive at some point, or that there was a plesiosaurus sometime like millions of years ago in the Loch Ness area. That's such a cool idea that there's a land, so there's some place. Oh, that would be cool too, because the Loch Ness Monster is kind of like similar to a dragon, I feel like. Not that it flies or anything, but like the way that the body looks and stuff. Like it's got scaly type skin or something. They could just be the water dragons. So they live in the dragon area, but it's that the water dragons, they swim instead of fly, and they rule this giant lake. Yeah. Oh, and Satoita's here too! Hello, how are you doing? You clearly made it safely home. It's gotten so hot since you were over here earlier. I hope you also have some fun plans for the weekend. Sounds like everybody's got something good going on. I love that. I love the weekend. I always hope everybody can enjoy their weekend. So with my contacts, I actually have two different strengths to try. I've been trying it's called negative 0.25 is what I've been trying the last 2 days. But working on this, I'm wondering if the -5 would actually be better for me. Because I mean, maybe I'm just not used to it. Not used to having correction on only one eye, but it's not like I can't see or anything. My prescription is super weak in the first place. Like I only need any correction just to prevent migraines from looking, because they called it close work, because I do close work all day, reading, writing, illustrating, anything on the computer, and that's all I do all day. So that's why I need any correction. But it's like kind of weird looking at this, so I wonder if the stronger one would actually help me more with this with drawing. Okay, so I got all the color put on the base. So this will end up being the base for the highlights. We're going to make it much darker. But I want to go back to the lightest colors we have, which is, I think, yeah, the neutral gray is the lightest color I've used so far because it's for the skin. So we'll go to the next level to do some shading. Oh, good. Everybody is chilling this weekend. Nice. Satoru just says, I plan to relax, lol. Oh. Yeah, maybe it'll work. Maybe it'll work nicely for me too. Wolf says I graduated to 0.5 and it is great. I only need them to drive. Yeah, it's nice. I guess since my one eye is good, like I've never needed anything to be able to do anything. If it makes any sense. But my vision used to be insanely good when I was a kid. So even though I still have better than 20/20 vision, I can tell that it's not as good as it used to be, and it's annoying. Plus, when I wasn't having any correction at all, I'd get like the worst migraines ever, like just completely debilitating. So that was another like, no, I gotta keep that in check. Okay, so I'm using neutral gray. I don't want to do too many layers of shading. I like to just do 1 or 2 layers of shading. So I'm gonna jump all the way. Should I jump to a 2 or a 3? I'll go to a 2, because we started with 0. So I think that's a nice jump, and then if it looks like we need some more, then I'll jump to the 4. So actually I'll grab them both at the same time. Neutral gray 2 and 4. Take a sip of my soda, another sip of my delicious Coca-Cola. Okay, so N2 to start. And I gotta decide on a light source, because the light sources in these two images are actually kind of, they're sort of similar and yet also different, because he's okay. I have one reference image that's just a movie poster. He's really brightly lit from the left side. And like from below in the front as well. So there's like a big shadow on his top of his head right here. But in the full body reference image I'm looking at, he's definitely got two different, he's backlit. So there's this really bright light shining on his clothing back here, and on the back of his head, a really bright section. But then also he's got this blue light hitting him from the left side. And then there seems to be some kind of neutral light coming from this side as well. So it's actually like his head in this reference image looks kind of like the French flag. Like it's blue, white in the middle, and then orange. Like it's like, so not like if it was red, then it would be the French flag. But it's like cool on one side, neutral in the middle, and warm on the other side. So I've got to pick something that works for this Chibi, because the Chibi can't be shaded the same way as both of these images. So like what I like usually doing is having a light source that's coming from in front and above to one side, so that the light would be hitting the most like right about here, and then the shading is on the back side and underneath on this side. So I think I'll do that because this is just to show off the character. It's not placed in a scene or anything like that. So I think just sort of a generic light. So I'm holding my fist like this is the sun. If the sun or the light source was like right about here, that's how I'm gonna shade this. Okay, so we do have all these small lines. I'm trying to think, how am I going to shade this, because I got to make sure not to shade the nails because I have those a different color. So if the light, I think it would maybe be like this, maybe following this line right here. Okay, let's just go for it. Nice thing with the Chibis is even if you don't get the light source like super realistic, the Chibi is not realistic, so it's okay if it's just a little like if it's not true to life or completely logical. You can just get an overall, if you can just make it look like somehow mostly consistent with a basic light logic, then that's good enough. Because with Chibi, the point is to make a cute version of something. So as long as the lighting isn't distracting, then you can just do it however. Okay. I'm actually going to curve this, add more here to make the cheek look more curved. Okay. Good, I think that's a good start. I like that shape. I'll hold it a little closer. Yeah, that's pretty good. He has really, and I think it's because of the makeup for the character, he has a pretty heavy brow. So I'm going to add some shading to indicate that. Like not the eyebrow, but the brow bone. Actually connect them right here around the nose area. Chibi doesn't have a nose for my Chibis. the eyes. I totally recommend them. Wolf says, oh my god, these markers are so nice. Only ever use Crayola, lol. Yeah, they're the Copic brand. So recommend. They're refillable, and they have an airbrushing system that you can use them with as well. So, and they've got like hundreds of colors. I have this swatch book. All the colors I have filled in are the colors that I own, but all these squares represent other colors that exist that are available. So there's just, I mean, it is an investment, but I feel like to get a quality product, it's worth the cost. So, and they're so fun. They're so fun to use, and they don't have a super strong smell like some markers. You know, they are alcohol, so if you put your nose on it and sniff it, you're gonna smell the alcohol smell. But you know, some markers, you open the cap and you're just like overwhelmed with like a stink, and like that's not how these are. These have a very low odor, so this is super nice. Okay, so I'm gonna completely shade in this hand. I'm gonna say that it is covered, that it's being that he's holding it back, and that it's gonna be shaded by his body. But this hand, I'll just do a tiny bit on the inside. Gotta catch them all. Yeah. I would, except that I like these square ones, because these square ones, it's their like original line or their main line, has the largest reservoir for ink inside. So the ones that I don't have, it's because they don't come in this square size. I wish they would make them all. They also last forever. They stay, they don't dry out just because they're sitting there, and they have a really nice seal and everything. Super good. They blend really nicely. Okay. Now I'm doing a little bit of shading to show that this clothing is on top of these areas that, so like, we determined that this little shape is definitely skin, and then I decided that these corresponding shapes are probably also skin. So, showing that the clothing is over the top of that, add a little shading on there. I think that this is, oh wait, no, I know what I want to do. I want to put a little bit on all these lines to show that the lines are going into the skin, like, so the skin's like this, but these were cut in, so it should have a little bit of shading. So that's another thing I'll do. But they're not super deep cuts, so I don't think I'll do any darker than this, except on the areas that are already shaded. That is overall shaded. I'm not sure if what I just said made sense, but I know what I'm doing in my head. And I'm still trying to be careful not to color a nail, since I'm trying to keep that a different color of gray. And I think that's the last one. Okay. Yay! Okay, I'm gonna put these N neutral grays together. So I'm just gonna go ahead and move on to the N4 and add the more dark shading. So like for instance, inside the ear, I think needs a little more dark shading. And the lines that are in this big patch of shadow, I think should have more shading. The cuts on his head. Whew, I almost drew that one too far, but I stopped. Because I only want it to go as far as this line, the edge where the shadow starts. Okay, and then I'll do a little extra shadow on this hand on the outside part. I think I'm happy with the shading on the torso. Anywhere else I want to add a second level of shadow. I wonder if the eyes... Yeah, I think I'll add just a little bit, just a tiny bit right here to show where the eyelid is. His brow kind of overhangs. Again, I think it's just because of the makeup. In order to get this kind of makeup on, they had to make the brows overhang the eyes more. Yeah, that's probably good. Ah! I took the end off this one. There. I took this little cap off. That happens sometimes. Okay. I think that's good for the skin for now. Just a few extra points of the darker shading. And the eyes and the ear and this hand. Okay, so the next darkest thing... Oh! These weird... I've been calling them fruit roll-ups. I don't know what they are. They're definitely red tinted. I've seen some comic book versions of this character that make it look like it's just like blood or exposed muscle tissue or something. So, but it is very dark. So I'm just gonna look for like a super dark red. I think, oh, maybe this might be the perfect color. This is in a different, I wrote on here chow because it's not one of my square ones. It's one of the chow ones, which I think are round, but it just means I need to look in a different spot. But I think that's the color I want. Yeah. It's in this Jewel Tones pack. RV69. Yep. Oh, how do I get this open? Oh, like that. And then it's over the top. And then it's gotta be this one. Yep. RV69. The color name is Pinny. Okay. So we'll just use this brush tip. Oh yeah, it looks really nice. This color looks really nice with the other colors we've got going on here. Yeah, I didn't draw it, but it looks like there's even like a skewer or something going up. But it's such a tiny little itty bitty spot that I'm just gonna leave it like this with these two little red stripes of whatever it is. But I do think this, especially with the blue of the eyes, I think it looks really nice. Okay, so I want to do the eyes next. We've got so much color down, it doesn't really matter what I work on. So the color that what order I work on things from this point, I mean. Color I picked was the B45. His eyes are very, very dark. But maybe this Prussian blue might actually be. Yeah, I like these three together. So we started with this one, progressing to this one, and this one I think, especially looking at the movie poster. The eyes are tiny, but I think that that's a nice one. So it's B37 and 39. B37 and 39. Okay, we're about halfway through the stream. So I'm actually not sure if we will get done today. I don't want to rush. So maybe we'll get done, but maybe we'll have another stream with this guy. Because there is no rush. There's no reason to rush. So take my time and get it done the way I like. So I'm using the shadow that I already drew on the white of the eyes as a guide for where I'm putting this shadow color for the iris. Add a little bit more on this side. I'm trying to color in a way that remembers that the iris is round even if it's cut off by the line of the lower eyelid. Following the roundness of the pupil. Okay. And then that big old line of markers again. Even with what's such a simple color scheme character. Okay, so this darkest color, just bring right into the top. And maybe the outside part a little bit. And then I want to take the lightest color, and I'm going to put it down again and sort of blend them. Blend all three. Yay! Yeah, I think that's good for the eyes, and I'll just do a little bit more with colored pencil when we get to that point. So what's next? Let's work on the nails. We have not done anything on the nails today. So the nails as in the nails in his head. There's no nails on a chibi hand for me because it's just a little stub. So we did the nails with cool gray, I believe. Yeah, because I think we used a toner gray in the eye. Okay, so cool gray 1 is what we used on the nails so far, and then we've got 6 out, but that's really dark, so let's pick something that's, so we started with 1, yeah, I'll do my usual and just go 2 steps up to C3, cool gray number 3. Oh, and I'll just use the C6. I was thinking about getting C5, but we got C6 out already, and it's not that big of a difference between the 5 and the 6. Okay. So for the nails, let me look at these reference images. Okay. Okay, I think so where the light is hitting them, there's not that much shadow, I think, because it's just such a thin little thing in the first place. But then over here, there's a lot more difference. Some nails have both a bunch of like really dark area, but then also really bright tip because it's sticking out farther than where the shadow is being cast, and stuff like that. So I'll do my best looking at this. I'm especially looking at the movie poster. Oh yeah, sorry I didn't notice it for a little bit. Actually said, can you focus the camera, please? Thanks. I think I've gotten a little better at, like, just looking to make sure. But sometimes I'm so into the drawing that I'm like, whoop-de-doo, and like, wait a minute. So thank you for letting me know, as always. It's very helpful. There's so many, I have so many things going on over on my screen over here. I have my OBS, I've got the chat, I've got the stream, the video for the stream, and I've got my 2 reference images for this one too, so really does help. Okay, and for some of these nails, I'm just going to put a little dot of shadow right where they're entering the skin. Just to help enforce the idea that they're going in. So where they're going in, not as much light is hitting it because it's curved inwards. I think I got them all. Okay, and I will just take the C6 that I already used for the clothing on the body and add a little bit of even darker shadow to some of these. Mostly in this really shaded area of the face. Yeah, I think that's good. That's good. Oh, I've got my C's together here. Okay. So here is a look at the shading on the nails. It's super subtle, just little, you know, like a little touch here or it's a little bit on the side. That's okay. Saltoy just says, I'm not chatting much. Just listening while I color in old Lord of the Rings coloring books. Yes. I'm still on the appendices of my my Return of the King audiobook narrated by Andy Serkis. And it's like I'm understanding so much more listening to it after watching The Rings of Power. So, even though I didn't appreciate how violent The Rings of Power was, I don't think I'd ever watch it again. But I'm like, oh, that's what it's talking about now when I listen to these appendices. Which I've heard a million times, read them a million times, but it's just sort of in one ear and out the other before. Oh yeah, it's so true. It's odd. Satoshi says he's very colorful, even though his scheme is monotone. Yeah, because they use this this bright blue light to light him up, and then they've also got these red tones coming in as well, and like in the movie poster he's got this red and gold, like vibrant red and gold box in his hands. I love finding color in things, though. That was something that made those otherwise boring painting classes fun. I was like, oh look, this shadow is just barely green tinted, so I'd like add more green than was real just to make it more fun. Okay, so I think I am done with his whole head area. And these little red stripes are so tiny, I don't really want to add anything more, so I think all I gotta do is his clothing. And I'm using the C6 already, so we'll just get the C8 and C10. C10 is the darkest it goes in the cool gray line. Okay, so I gotta remember, I decided my light source is like this. My hand is the light source. So that means he'll be lit like from here. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. And I am going to have some like reflected light, but I'm going to bring it in as a highlight using either colored pencil or ink. I haven't decided yet, white ink. And since I decided that he's holding his arms back, you know, like his chest is out front and his arms are back, like this powerful stance. So we're just going to color this all in with this darker color on this arm. And then, unique to the Chibi, his head is so giant that he's definitely going to be casting a pretty big shadow on his own body. So we'll bring that down here. It's getting exciting because adding the shading to the body makes him look more, not real, but realized. Okay, now there's these, I keep hitting the markers with my board. There's these like tubes or something on him, and I think that they will have a roundness. They definitely look like they have a roundness. So I'm going to put some lines of shadows to indicate that. Oh yeah, okay. And then this like bodice, and it's going down past the hips and like protecting the groin, I guess, is also going to cast a shadow on this skirt. So I'll hold it up and show what I was talking, because it's just such a tiny little area. So it's this shadow cast from this the top part onto the skirt, and then these little tubes casting their own shadows because of their roundness. Oh, so hopefully see you next week. Have a great weekend. Bye. Lexi says, gotta go now. Hope you have a great stream ahead. Thank you. Have a great weekend. And a great night's sleep, since I know it's super late for you. So now I'm adding the shading on the skirt. Show where the folds are. And there was already lines showing the folds, but this is like showing how they're transitioning from light to dark based on the lighting. Ah, that's so satisfying. I added a little line of shadow here on this part where the skin is showing through this hole in the middle of the clothing. Adding this little dark shadow right here, in addition to the existing shadow on the skin part, really gives it that nice depth. It's such a small thing, such a tiny little thing to do. Okay, so I am happy with the C8. I definitely want to come back in with C6 again, but let's do this darkest C10. Definitely going to do so like where the arm will be blocking even more light over this side of the body. And maybe right under the head to show how deep the shadow gets, because it's such a big head. And then some shadow on the outside part of the arm, how like I have the hand has a tiny little bit of the second level of shading for the skin. We're going to do the same thing for the arm. Okay, now go back to the C6. Not just for blending, but also to add an extra layer between the original application of the C6, which is going to be lighter as long as I don't touch it again, and then adding some to, so it's like for transition, but also to just make yet another shadow color. I don't know if that makes sense. The point is that I'm not just blending colors by adding this C6 some more. So here, so this, for instance, this lighter triangle right here is the first application of C6. This darker color next to it is just a second application of C6 on top of that. So that's what I was getting at. Ah, I think that's looking really good too. I don't think that I need to do any more marker work. Just looking one more time just to be sure, but oh, his little mouth. I want to put a little shadow on his mouth. So what was I using? Neutral? Yeah, I think so. I think I was using the neutral gray. It's a little shadow to show that his mouth is not just a line on his face. It is a thing that has dimension too. There, that's much better. Just a couple little lines around his mouth. That's good. Let's see. Got 9 minutes. Oh, thank you. I think I got it. Yay, thank you. Wolf is stepping in. Wolf says out of focus. Thank you, thank you. I'm trying to get in the habit of just like press the button anyway. You know? Because it's not reliable. So, but I still forget. Yeah, let's get, I was just looking one more time, but let's get the colored pencils. 9 minutes, we might be able to finish this. There's really not that much to add with colored pencils anyway. And then white ink on some spots, especially I'm looking forward to putting it on the eye. I think the eyes are already looking pretty nice, but when you add those white highlights on there, just, oh, that is the finishing touch, so satisfying. Try to, there's always a bit of a puzzle trying to get these to fit on my desk and not crowd out the picture, but I think I've got it. This is good. Okay, so I think it's like his shading on his head I'm quite satisfied with. I think maybe just a little bit of white to soften up the actual ink lines where I imagine the light is hitting hardest. So this isn't really to lighten up the gray marker, but to lighten up the black ink lines. Show that the light is hitting right here. This is where it's hitting strongest out of anywhere else on his body. Let's see if I'm not sure if it'll really. There, yeah, I think you can see how these are now lighter than these ones over here. Okay. these fruit roll-ups on his chest. I don't know if I have a dark enough, but I would like to... Maybe I'll just use a nice dark brown. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Just so it's not just this flat thing. Just to make it a little bit more interesting. There, just put a little dark brown on top. Oh, put that out just in case I need it again later. I'm trying to leave them out. Okay, so this is something I was definitely wanting to do, which is his outfit is super reflective, like it's vinyl or something. And so the blue light that he's lit up with really shines on his, especially on the skirt, probably because it's so big and flat. So I wonder if this will be a good shade. Maybe not bright enough. Maybe we'll just try this one. Let's see. Yeah, it's not quite as vibrant as I was hoping, but it's still giving it that different, that overall different look. Like it's just a subtle change. And then his face is on his face too, so I'm gonna lightly add it to his face as well. Yeah, I think it's a good enough addition. Just that's not very bright on the camera, but just to show that blue light hitting it. What else? Is there anything else I'm missing? A little bit of blue inside of these. Adding a little more blue, actually. Yeah, that's good. Or maybe, yeah, as if the light is curving around and hitting from the back side too. Just on the edge. Haha, yeah, I like it. So I just added it on the back, as if it's curving around. You know, because light does, like scientifically, light curves around things. So, and that's where I added it on this bodice too. Is that good? Am I ready for... I might be ready to put the white ink on there. Oh yeah, I wanted to do a little bit more with his eyes. Maybe this color. They were still a little bit too bright, and I wanted to have a smoother transition between the colors. And then let's do a darker one too. Where's my really nice dark blue? Yes. It's almost black. It's called indigo blue. This is super dark. I obviously use it a lot because it's tiny. It's a very nice blue. It's really nice for shadows because then they're more interesting than just using black. And I like leaving a light rim right where the pupil is, because the pupil is where the light enters the eye. So it sometimes really is, like if you take a photo of an eye or something, it really is lighter there. And then also I just like that look too, just from like an aesthetic point of view. There's the colored pencil on the eyes. And we're so close to done, even though there's less than a minute left. I'm just going to finish this up because all we need to do now is a little bit of white ink for little pops of highlight. Do need a scrap paper. Okay, I was already using this one before to clean off the dry ink off the tip. So that's always just a thing. Okay, and since the light's coming from here, then that determines where I want to put my highlights in the eyes. And then we'll just do like a couple little tinier. I'm using my largest white ink pen, but tinier dots. Oh, he's so cute. Oh. Wait. There's still a few other areas I want to add some white ink though. These fruit roll-ups on his chest have a little bit of shine to them. And his outfit definitely does. It's like a vinyl or whatever it is outfit. I'm using my smaller pen for this because these are just super tiny details, so I gotta use a small one. And we'll add a little bit on his arms, I think, because he's got this interesting texture on the outfit. And maybe some lines on his skirt. I can do some on the nails, but they're already so light that I don't know. Well, I know. I'll put some, if I put it on the actual ink, then I think it would help look at like a highlight instead of just disappearing in the already very light gray marker. Now I'm just looking it over one more time, but I think that's good. I think it's pretty good. Maybe his mouth might have a little bit of moisture on it. Oh, you can't even tell because it's such a light color. Well, it's on there. You can't tell, but it's there. Okay. Calling it good. Let me just sign it. And we be done. Yay! Another Chibi complete. Let's see, it's 23. Chibi Pinny McPinhead. The Hellraiser. I can't remember his official name. There's an official character name for this guy, but... So here's this close-up look before we sign off for the week. Yay! Finish the marker, finish the colored pencil, and the little ink details. I really like how this shiny vinyl or whatever outfit is. Turned out really nice, I think. There's his full Oh, look. Penny McPinhead. The Chibi Hellraiser. Yay! Another one in the bag! Oh, he's the Hell Priest. Right. It should be so easy. Satu just says he's the Hell Priest. Oh, thank you. Looks awesome. Thank you. Yeah. Good. Wolf says, what a cute Hell Priest. The cutest one you'll ever see. Before he guts you or whatever he does, because I know I'll never watch these movies. But okay, we're 4 minutes over, so we'll call it good for this week. Next week I should be back. My new schedule will continue with its Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Friday streams. So I'll be back on Tuesday with Inktober 52. Oh, thank you! Yay! I'm glad that you think so. Wolf says the outfit is perfect. I really hope my youngest sister likes it. She will be over here tomorrow, so we'll see if she likes it. We'll see how the reception is. I'm excited for it. Okay. Well, I won't keep anybody any further. That's it for this week. Hopefully see you next week. Either way, I hope you have a great weekend. Thank you for watching.